Good morning and welcome to this short audio and visual clip just outlining what we intend doing about the upcoming Level 5 Communications module with Cohort 6 of the Distance Education Group. I suppose first of all we'll go into the actual module itself. It's a QQI module. It is taught out within Teagasc courses and obviously outside them nationally across some Level 5 wards. There are learning outcomes within each module that actually describe what you need to be able to achieve once you've completed the module. It certainly guides those delivering the module in terms of what they need to cover and inform students on. As you see, there's 11 of them there. It's a Level 5 module, the first year course within a third level institution, so it's pitched at that level, and by that I mean it looks for very straightforward things such as looking to engage in information technology when engaging communications. Involves health and safety at work when engaging communications, using non-verbal and visual communications, one-to-one or group communications, presenting, listening skills, reading techniques, skimming, obtaining overviews, critiquing information, relevant vocational topics including primary or secondary sources, acknowledging or referencing source of information, drafting, proofreading or editing skills, demonstrating communication styles, and communicating appropriate communications technology to receive requests, instructions, etc. So we are obliged to deliver that module and all 11 learning outcomes, and we'll just keep that figure of 11 learning outcomes in mind as we go through this short clip. Just to say, there's no actual exam associated with it. It's a portfolio of work that's submitted. I think it's about 11 tasks in total that have to be done. One of them would be a short presentation at the end, but very, very manageable, and most students have no difficulty with it, just to actually sit down and bring forward a portfolio of work. So we'll just minimize that, and we'll go in there to a document here that we're going putting up on Moodle this morning, and it'll give you an idea in terms of those that have to do it, the award, those that might be eligible for an exemption, or those that might apply for recognition of prior learning. So we'll just go through that by maybe starting at the end. Every student in this group will fall into one of three categories. You will either be entitled to an exemption, which we'll touch on in a second there. You'll either be applying for RPL, recognition of prior learning, because you don't get the exemption, but you feel you have achieved those 11, most of those 11 learning outcomes through either academic work previously or through work, or else it's very straightforward. For the majority of students, you'll need to complete the module itself. Okay, so that document just outlines it. I'll leave you read it yourself. Next, we'll go into the criteria grid. So we'll take a look at this, and it might seem a little bit intimidating initially, but hopefully if you're entitled to the exemption of the RPL, you will see yourself in one of these groups. The first one there would be Category 1 students, those that attended a higher education training course, such as we'll say an IT or a university, and they've attained their award at level 6 or higher, so a higher diploma, an ordinary degree, level 7, a higher degree, level 8, a master's, a postgraduate diploma, a doctorate, any of those awards, level 6 or higher on the QQI scale, then they've achieved it since the 1st of January 15. In other words, the date on the transcript, the date on the award they got is dated the 1st of January 15, then or more recent, and they're automatically entitled to it. So all you need to do is provide us with a copy of that parchment or scroll proving that you have the award from the appropriate institution dated post the 1st of January 15, and there's no fee associated with that. A Category 2 student would be someone who has done a course within the last 5 years or so at level 6 or higher, but done it, we'll just say, in the UK. But as long as we can map their award, because they use slightly different terms on their awards, and we can map it to being level 6 or higher on the National Framework Qualification Scale, they too will get the exemption, no fee. We just need a copy of the parchment and complete the application form. A Category 3 student is those who would have completed a generic module. So if you have completed one of these level 5 modules as part of a course you've done in the last number of years, and it is that code next to it, okay, that will equate to doing communications. It comes from the same category that QQI look at communications from. It's what they call the soft skills or personal development. And then having done that in the last 5 years, we will give you credit for that, and that will do instead of doing our communications module. We just need you to prove it by having a copy of your results listing or your award. And again, you will automatically get the exemption. No fee, just the exemption and a copy of the award. A Category 4 student would be those who got a level 6 award or higher from a university or IT prior to the 1st of January 15. So you'd be in the same category as these people up here. You might have completed, let's say, a degree in engineering or fine art or whatever it might be. It just happens that your award was granted prior to 1st of January 15. It could be in 2008 or 2009. We need you to apply for recognition of prior learning. It's adjudicated by someone external to Kildalton, someone that's based in Grange, County Meath, and you need to build a case as regards why you feel you're entitled to the recognition of prior learning, and I'll look at that in a minute on a different form. A Category 5 student is a student that has got a code G20001, okay, at level 5 communications. As part of, it could be as part of doing a trade with FOSS or SOLAS or any other maybe post-leaving cert course they might have done. If you have that code next to the communications module, okay, or any of these codes and module titles that say achieved as part of your award, then if you can provide a copy of the parchment and complete the application form, you will be entitled to the exemption. That's if you had got it since January 15. If you got any of those awards or these G code awards up here for communications as part of modules you completed in courses prior to the 1st of January 15, you need to apply for RPL. Okay, RPL, it's not a definite that you put a case together and you get it. You have to build an evidence-based case. There is a fee associated with it, and not everyone that applies gets it. So just to be aware of that. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll come out of those two screens and we'll go over here to the RPL application form. First of all, we'll look at the application form for exemptions. So for most people that have achieved their award since the 1st of January 15 onwards, they'll be looking at this form: name, surname, first name, previous name, if it relates particularly to the name on the award. Okay, so if you call yourself Jerry but it's down as Jeremiah or Geraldine, we need the name on the transcript, and the address, phone number, date of birth, email, nationality. It says here about Quercus ID. I can get that for you, so if you print this off, fill it out and send it back to me, certainly I will fill that in before it goes near the officer that deals with this, Carmel Finley. We need to just tick that level 5 communications module we're looking for the exemption for, just that box there. And if you went to an IT or university, it's this box you fill in terms of the course you did, the awarding body, and the award, the year that you got the award. We'll just say 2017. If you went to a further education or training course and you did a level 6 or level 5 course there, and you're carrying credit in through modules you did to this procedure, then it's this box you fill in. Okay, you tick the appropriate one here. Okay, and sign it and date it, and that comes back to me. And again, I look after the Quercus number for that. And that brings us to the next two forms there. The first one is the RPL form. It is worth reading this. Okay, applying for RPL, it requires a €50 fee, a lot of time and a lot of effort to build a strong enough case. Please do read this first to see if you stand a fighting chance of getting it. Again, we need just to complete name, address, phone number, and again, it's the name as the official name as per your documents. And again, local Teagasc office there would be Kildalton College. Okay, the reason for applying for it would be looking for an exemption in the course. Okay, so you're looking for an exemption for communications at level 5, and the reason for requesting it would be that I presume on your behalf that you feel you have attained the standard either through a module you completed in 2008 or 9, or through work because of the type of work you're doing in the last number of years. On this page, you have to build a strong case based on your qualifications or your current or previous work as to how long you've been doing it, where it's been, and the learning outcomes that you are, I suppose, using day to day. So, for argument's sake, if you're currently in a sales or marketing or promotion role, and you do presentations to clients 3 or 4 times a week, and you're involved in team meetings internally and external to the organisation, then that's very relevant to why you might feel you have achieved learning outcomes in the communications module. Okay, so we'll just go back there briefly to the module. If you feel that you have very much mastered, we'll just say, this particular one here, learning outcome number 3. You see learning outcome on the title here, number 3. Appropriate verbal, non-verbal, visual, interpersonal, work-related settings. If you feel strongly that you're using presentations to get points of view across in discussion groups, then that's learning outcomes 3 and 4 of the module that you feel you have strong cases for. Okay. So we'll just go back into this briefly again. On this particular sheet, it just says at the bottom, it's a €50 fee per module. You're just applying for this one module. It asks that you complete the application form, which this is, that you provide a copy of your birth cert, a copy of the qualification, so the scroll or the results listing from your award that would have got you into this course in the first place, and the fee. Now the fee can be paid for over the phone using a laser card, and instead of posting it off to Carmel Finlay, I'm requesting that you email the pack to me. I will look at it for you and let you know if you stand a decent chance or not, and I'll discuss it over the phone with you at that point. Okay, that brings us to the last form here, which is a mapping document. So the 11 learning outcomes that we looked at in the module specification, they're listed here, 1 to 11. And what you're asked to do is fill in based on maybe achieving this learning outcome in a module in a previous course. We'll say you did business in Carlow IT, and this is one of the learning outcomes of one of the modules you did in second year or third year. You're asked to specify that there. If you feel number 3 and 4, which you mentioned earlier, are ones that you're mastering at work on a daily, or you will certainly on a monthly basis anyway, then we need you to document that there. Now it's an evidence-based process, so it's not good enough to just put down something broad and vague. You need to be as specific as you can, and we need you to provide all documents so that Carmel can sit down and adjudicate on this without having to go seeking further information. So if you're saying that you did module X, Y, and Z in Carlow IT as part of a business program in 2007, we need you to provide the actual syllabi for that course, and also the module descriptor or the module specification for the module you're saying had a similar learning outcome to this. And if down here in the work-related case, we need to specify the role, the place you're employed, and successful students in this process usually provide a letter of support from an employer clarifying that yes, the role is in, we'll just say in my example, sales and marketing, and that they head of a team of 4 people. They're involved in monthly health and safety meetings plus ongoing meetings with clients in terms of teleconferences or face-to-face or whatever it might be. So the more specific you make the case, the more successful you're likely to be. There's 11 learning outcomes there. Recognition of prior learning requires that you achieve at least 8. There's a 70% rule. Okay, so it's probably a lot to throw at you initially. I'm certainly at the end of a phone and email if I can help guide anyone as regards their own particular situation. But just to go recap through it, that's the actual specification that we're teaching to. If you're not eligible for the exemption of the recognition of prior learning, 3/4 of you will be doing the module with us. There's no exam, it's a portfolio work, it's very achievable, and we'll be heading into that either side of Easter. And the application form for exemption is here. That's the one whereby if you have got your award since the 1st of January 15 from a higher education facility and it is at level 6 or higher, you fill in the form here, send back a copy of the parchment via e-form now, just to scan it in and send it back to me, and I will confirm with you that you've got the exemption. If you feel you stand a good chance because of award granted prior to 1st of January 15 or because of your current working role, and you can put an evidence-based case together, then you need to be looking at the recognition of prior learning form here, and the second one, the mapping one, here. But to start with, I'd encourage you to read these two documents just outlining the cases, and hopefully you'll see yourself in some of those examples on that case. Okay, so look, that'll be up on Moodle there this morning, and my own contact details will be going up with it. So I wish you luck interpreting it, and I encourage you to come in contact with me if I can help decipher any of that information for you. Okay, we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.